Welcome to Pete's world of poisonous plants, where history drips with venom and the past is steeped in deadly doses. This is episode 2 of our journey, and tonight we step into the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, an age when poisoners perfected their art and science was only just beginning to catch them. Our first tale begins in the late 1600s with the notorious Marie-Madeleine d'Aubray, the Marquise de Brinvilliers. This French noblewoman tested poisons on hospital patients before using them on her own family. Her weapon was arsenic, colorless, tasteless, and almost impossible to detect at the time. Her father and brothers suffered agonizing stomach cramps, vomiting, and slow collapse of their organs. The polite name for it was gastric fever, but really it was arsenic gnawing at their insides. She was eventually caught, tortured, and executed in 1676. Her crimes shocked France and ignited the affair of the poisons, a scandal of murder, witchcraft, and black masses that tainted even the court of Louis XIV. Next, we move to Naples, where Giulia Toffana created one of the deadliest cosmetics in history. Her invention was aqua Toffana, a clear, odorless liquid made from arsenic, lead, and the deadly nightshade belladonna. She bottled it in vials disguised as holy water or labeled as a women's cosmetic. Unhappy wives dripped it into their husbands' wine or soup. The effect was slow and subtle: weakness, exhaustion, wasting away. Doctors of the time would call it natural illness. It is believed her potion killed more than 600 men before she was finally exposed and executed. For centuries after, the name aqua Toffana struck fear as the poison of choice for professional killers. Now let's turn to Paris and another woman whose name still echoes in infamy, Catherine de Chaise, better known as La Voisin. In the 1670s, La Voisin ran a network of fortune-tellers, midwives, and alchemists, supplying poisons and arranging secret rituals for wealthy clients. She mixed arsenic powders with wine, baked toxic potions into love charms, and was even accused of conducting black masses where poison and sorcery went hand in hand. Her customers included nobles, priests, and allegedly the mistress of the king himself. Eventually she was arrested and, after torture, confessed. She was burned at the stake in 1680. The scandal rocked Paris, and for a time poison was whispered about as much as politics. Jump forward to the 19th century, and poison had become the weapon of choice for some of the most chilling killers in Victorian Britain. Take Dr. Thomas Neill Cream, a Scottish-Canadian physician. Cream used strychnine, a bitter alkaloid that causes violent convulsions. Victims remained fully conscious as their muscles locked and their bodies arched backward in spasms before suffocating to death. He preyed mostly on women, often prostitutes, under the guise of offering medicine. Cocky and arrogant, he wrote taunting letters to the police and accused innocent men of his own murders. He was finally caught and hanged in 1892. According to legend, his last words were, "I am Jack before the trap was sprung." Was he confessing to being Jack the Ripper, or just mocking his audience? We'll never know. But Cream wasn't the only poisoner stalking Victorian Britain. Mary Ann Cotton, often called England's first female serial killer, left a trail of bodies in the northeast of England. Her poison of choice was arsenic, slipped into tea. Symptoms included vomiting, diarrhea, and a slow wasting away indistinguishable from the gastric fevers common at the time. Her husbands, lovers, children, and stepchildren all seemed to die young, often just after she had taken out insurance policies. She was eventually caught and hanged in 1873, but not before claiming as many as 21 victims. Her memory lingered in a grim nursery rhyme: "Mary Ann Cotton, she's dead and she's rotten. She lies in her bed with her eyes wide open." Meanwhile, across the Channel, the 1860s saw the trial of Madame Marie Lafarge. She was accused of killing her husband with arsenic. What made her case famous was the use of one of the very first forensic toxicology tests, the Marsh test, to detect arsenic in tissue samples. Though controversial, she was convicted, and her trial became a turning point in science and law. For the first time, chemistry itself was called as a witness. But if you thought these poisoners were terrifying, nothing could prepare the world for the nurse they called Jolly Jane. Born Honora Kelly in 1854, later renamed Jane Toppan, she worked as a nurse in Massachusetts. Outwardly cheerful and friendly, she earned the nickname Jolly Jane. Behind the smile, she was a sadistic killer. She experimented on her patients, using morphine to sedate them and atropine to jolt their hearts. Sometimes she brought them to the brink of death, then revived them just to watch them suffer again. She confessed to murdering at least 31 people, though the true number may have been higher. Her victims included patients under her care, friends, even her landlords. What makes her story even more chilling is her confession. She admitted she enjoyed climbing into bed with her victims as they died, whispering comfort while secretly taking pleasure in their final breaths. Her ambition, she said, was to have killed more people, more helpless people than any man or woman who ever lived. In 1901, she was finally arrested. Declared insane, she was committed to the Taunton Insane Hospital in Massachusetts, where she lived until her death in 1938. She never showed remorse. Jolly Jane Toppan was the last great poisoner of the 19th century, and the perfect monster to lead us into the 20th, because the poisoners who came next would be colder, cleverer, and in many ways even harder to catch, and Jane Toppan was only the beginning. Join me in episode 3 of Pete's World of Poisonous Plants, where we step into the 20th century and meet a new breed of poisoners who shocked the modern world.